Hey all, we are now live. Thank you for tuning in to another live stream from Bold Commerce, where we're excited to talk to you about the latest trends in e-commerce and the digital online world, as well as to help you run your online and retail store and provide strategies for you to help sell more, to market easier, and to reach a larger audience. Today we're doing a special broadcast. As you guys may know, we normally do it every second Thursday. We're taking a break from the School of Commerce, which resumes next week. When we're going to be talking about using Instagram. But for this week, we're going to be talking about retail marketing, a topic that we've never gotten into on School of Commerce or really Bold as a whole yet. And as we know, we're all players in the e-commerce space. Most of us probably have Shopify stores and we sell online, but lots of us also have retail stores. That's how we got started. Is we started with pop-up shops, or we started with retail stores when we converted to the e-commerce world. As well as a lot of large stores, large e-commerce stores are now going back to retail because they've kind of outgrown the e-commerce space and they want to start focusing on more in-person interactions. So today, I'm excited to have on with me Scott Riddell from Kobo, and he's going to be talking with us today about retail marketing, what it is, how you can do it, some strategies, and really how your Wi-Fi at your business can work for you. So I'm going to bring Scott up here on the screen here. Hey, Scott, how's it going?
Hey, Kevin. I'm good. How are you doing? Hello,
I'm
everybody out there in Bold Commerce Internet land.
Yeah, so this would be a good reminder. So we are currently streaming live on Crowdcast, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. So if you guys have any questions at all, whether it's throughout the presentation or afterwards, just submit them on whatever platform you're using to watch us, and we will answer them when we have a second. So Scott, let's get right down into it today. Maybe can you describe for us in the audience here, what is Wi-Fi marketing?
Wi-Fi marketing. So that's our core business and what we do here at Kobo. It's relatively new. I mean, Wi-Fi has been around for a while, since smartphones. You want to go everywhere you can and connect to an open Wi-Fi network, whether that's at a restaurant or something, or at your hotel. And obviously at home, you've probably got a Wi-Fi network available. But in the last few years, businesses have really started using this for marketing. There's a lot of opportunities to use it for everything from content delivery to tracking your customers and your visits and frequency and things like that. So that's what our product does, is it automates a lot of the content delivery is kind of the main thing, and allows retailers and whoever to capture their customers' contact information, the goal of it.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And when I first started hearing about Wi-Fi marketing, I was kind of unfamiliar with the topic, but when I heard some examples, I've told most of us have seen it, right? If most of you guys have checked into a hotel, you've probably experienced Wi-Fi marketing where it pops up and asks for your room number, and then asks for email, and then you get promotions from the restaurant, and they're like, we've all probably experienced it one way or another, but it can feel so seamless, and that's kind of why it's so effective.
You're right. That's exactly what it is. One of the, I think airports were really one of the first industries, airports and hotels. And even with hotels, I don't feel like a lot of them really do a great job of it. But airports were kind of the starting example of travelers looking for one, free data, and two, a decent signal, because oftentimes that's the challenge is you're out of cell phone range or you're roaming or something. So airports kind of paved the way. You would connect to the open Wi-Fi network, and for a long time they were charging you for it, and some still are. But then the first thing you see when you connect is relevant information about your location, say your flight schedules or things like that, or what restaurants are nearby in the airport. So things like that. And it was really all the content delivery and just providing a nice value-added service. But what we kind of have discovered is in this space that you can use it now to, instead of saying, we'll charge you $5 to connect to the Wi-Fi, we'll get your email address from you or your phone number. And that will give you the Wi-Fi connection. And then from there, you can kind of see when you come and go. So in the case of a retail store, once somebody is connected to the Wi-Fi, their phone is associated with the Wi-Fi access point that's providing the signal. Each time they come into the store, they see each other. And so we kind of track those analytics. So you can see that this person comes to your store to shop twice a month, and this person comes, 4 times a year, or whatever that may be. So you can kind of get a little bit more information about your customers, and segment them properly. If you know that some people only shop at your sales on the weekends, and other people shop, all the time, maybe you want to market to them differently, send different email blasts to each one of them instead of the same blast to all of your customers saying the same thing, when really you could be treating them differently and probably be more effective in your marketing.
Yeah, so it really is kind of almost like a value trade, right? Because you're giving them Wi-Fi and access point, and in return they're giving you their email address to be marketed to. Have you found that people are willing to give up their email addresses? Are people comfortable with this, or are they kind of hesitant about it?
I think it's fair trade. I think people are pretty comfortable with it. Especially, I'm sure that they prefer it to spending, $1 or $5 to get some Wi-Fi. And it's relevant. If you go somewhere and you shop there, at least for me and a lot of people I know, I don't mind getting those emails. I'm more than willing to give them my email address because I want to know when they've got new products or merchandise or sales or, things that are important, because that's a place that I go. So generally people are pretty okay with giving up their email address, and now what's emerging a lot more is phone numbers and SMS marketing over email marketing. We can talk about that a little bit if you want, but generally the public is okay with it. There's always going to be some people that put in a fake email address or something like that. That's fine. You're always going to get that, and other people will unsubscribe from your list, and that'll always happen too. But generally speaking, it's pretty commonplace, and everyone's all right with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because people working in the e-commerce space, we know that you can get customers' contact information before they buy anything. Of course they can subscribe on your website. There's a nice form usually, and of course if they buy your product, if they actually become a customer, it usually automatically signs them up to a mailing list, and then you have them advertise more. But when it comes to retail stores, there's really no great way to get their email before they become a customer. Maybe you have the fishbowl full of business cards or something like that, but there's no great way to get their email until they bought something. So that's kind of where this Wi-Fi marketing comes into play, I suppose, where they can connect to the Wi-Fi, you get their email address, and then you guys both benefit from that situation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's kind of awkward when you're going to buy a pair of shoes somewhere, and you go to checkout and you give them your credit card and they ask you for your email address, and I don't know, for some reason that seems a little bit invasive and awkward, and having to spell it out and have them write it down or punch it in, it's just an awkward situation. But to say, hey, you know what, I will give you a coupon to our store, and there you go, and then you just enter it in, and it's so much easier and seamless. And a lot of times, if you provide that incentive, people aren't stupid. They know that, they're, getting me in to get my email address for this coupon, and, people are all right with that. But they know what's going on. But it's extremely effective.
So I want to, yeah, and I completely agree, actually, because I used to work in retail, and I had customers all the time who would be like, I'd be like, what's your email? And they're like, I don't want to tell you. Yeah. Completely upright about it. There's something about asking people in person that they just get really uncomfortable about it. That's
well, and you're not getting anything out of it at that point, right? They're just asking you for your email address. You're not, at least in this case, well, you wanted the free Wi-Fi, so all right, I'll give you my email address because I'm already here and I'm already doing it. There's no problem with that, and yeah, there's a transaction.
So I want to talk a little bit about Kobo. Obviously you work for them, and you've built this system for Wi-Fi marketing. I want to talk a little bit about how specifically it would work for a merchant who runs a retail store, who wants to get started with Wi-Fi marketing, and just the options they have, and just kind of how all the process works. I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see kind of what I'm seeing on my end.
Yeah, the whole setup is we've tried to make it as frictionless as possible. I guess, as I say, as easy a setup as possible. Like you guys, like Bold, you sell e-commerce apps, and a lot of times, you click the button, you install the app, and it works on your store. With us, there's a little bit more to it because there's the hardware component. But when somebody signs up, so you can go to our website. It's getkobold.com. And there's links to create a free account. So you can create an account and look at the admin and see kind of a little bit of how it works. But nothing will really work until we send you out the Wi-Fi hardware. So it's just a Wi-Fi access point. It comes, we ship out the box, it arrives in a couple of days, and all you have to do literally is just plug it in. There's one thing to plug into the power and one Ethernet cable to plug into your current internet router, and boom, public Wi-Fi network. The time that we send it out to you, we'll do a little bit of onboarding. For the most part, anybody can set it up themselves, but we're happy anytime to get on a phone call and walk you through it to create the content that people are going to see when they connect to the Wi-Fi, and then the engagement, either the text messages or emails that are going to go out after they have connected.
I think
so yeah, I see you're on our web, and this is a really simple setup, typical setup. And this is using the case of a restaurant here. The same thing for retail place, but so obviously this is an iPhone for iPhone users, but for Android it's very similar. You go to your settings and you find the free Wi-Fi network and you connect to it. We've all done this a million times. At that point, a screen slides up and asks you to input either your phone number or email address. For some like nightclubs, they want to use to get birth dates. We built that in as an option. There's also like a Facebook login as an option. You also will get the customer's email address through the Facebook login. Anyway, and once they hit connect, it kicks you over to the next page, and now you're in what's called the captive portal. And this is where we deliver all the content about whatever you want it to be. It could be a screen showing your sales or links to your menu if you're a restaurant, or to leave a review, or whatever you want people to see first when they're at your store. So they can play around and see what you've got there. And we typically see people spend from about 25 seconds to a minute and a half in the captive portal, looking around. It really depends on what the content is. Some people just show Facebook page because, at that point you've already got their contact information. They're in your store, so you can do all your selling in person. But other places really like to make this a deep, robust experience with lots of interactive content. And then from there, the next thing that happens is either an email or text messages are triggered, and you can set them up to trigger however you want, whether it's right immediately upon somebody's first connection, or maybe after they leave your store to send them a request to leave a review, or if they haven't been back for a period of time, you can send them something like, hey, we miss you, come back, and here's a coupon to use in our store or online. So that's a pretty typical setup, and it's really simple to do, really easy to do, and pretty fast, pretty painless.
Yeah, this is what I like about this is that this obviously for those that understand the concept yet, kind of shows you the 4 steps to how everything works. And this is an example used in a restaurant, but we actually at Bold, we're a tech company, we sell apps. We've actually used Wi-Fi marketing ourselves, and I think I'll tell you how we used it, because I think it could help people who are on Shopify use it as well. And that is, we were at a trade show. And if you've ever been to a trade show, which some of you guys have, if you make your own product and you sell on Shopify, that the Wi-Fi is not great in those places. So what we did is we actually used our own hotspot. We created our own Wi-Fi connection, around our booth, and we had a promotion where we were offering people who connected to our Wi-Fi to win a free iPad. So they'd connect to the Wi-Fi, would pop up saying, hey, here's Bold Commerce, here's our Wi-Fi, enter your email address to connect, they connect, and then it would say, enter for your chance to win a free iPad, tap here and submit your information. And we had great success with it. So I think from a Shopify perspective, if you're at a trade show, I think this would be kind of a cool way to get email addresses. It's less maybe aggressive than the traditional. Here's come to my booth. Here's an iPad. Enter your email address right here. They can kind of do it on their own time when they pull up their phone and connect to the Wi-Fi. Just to kind of give you another way of using this.
Yeah.
But I would like to dive into the admin while we have it here. Scott, did you have something you'd like to add?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. We do the exact same thing when we're at trade shows. Obviously, it's our own products. We get to show off our own product at the same time as collecting some contact info. It's really cool. There's tons of applications that we see, all different types of retailers or live events is a big one that people are starting to use it for, and all kinds of things. But anyway, so into the admin. When you first log in, this is what you're going to see. So this is the admin of a little demo account that I set up. There's not a ton of data because I was just testing it out here at the office, but you see a few things. The first metric that you see there, at number 5, is sightings. And that is a good indicator of your overall foot traffic. So as I mentioned before, when somebody walks in, the Wi-Fi access point sees their phone. And so they see it, so we call it a sighting. They kind of make a connection. The person may not have pulled their phone pocket or done anything yet, but there's a phone available to connect to this open Wi-Fi network, so it sees it. If there are other open networks in the area, the phone will want to connect to whichever one has the strongest signal and whichever one's closer. But if they're in your location, that's going to be you. So that's a good idea of like your foot traffic. And then jumping over, you see that other number 5, that's the connection. So that's the number of people that actually pulled their phone out of their pocket and connected to the Wi-Fi and went through the whole experience, saw the content, entered their email or whatever, saw the content. Just left of that is your average connection. That's how long each person was connected to the internet while at your location. And then next to that, we see the average portal viewing. That's how long they spent viewing that content that you delivered. We've got the amount of data that's been used, that's flowing through this, that should be taken with a grain of salt. Like that's just the data that's coming through our Wi-Fi access point. That's not necessarily related to all the other data being used by your overall internet, like on your computer or anything, but it's just what's going through our Wi-Fi access point. And then the number of page views. A few other metrics, the average number of connections per user. So you see some people coming back and connecting more than once. And then your new versus returning users just gives you an overall kind of idea of what's going on at your location, how many people are coming in and connecting and what they're doing.
And so for those of you out there who may be looking at this and you're thinking, man, this looks like it's going to be really complicated to get set up. One thing, and I haven't had a lot of time to play around with this myself, but actually going through and creating these experiences is incredibly simple. If I was able to figure it out, I think most people could figure it out. I'll kind of give an example here when we're going into a portal. So this would be, your experience of when somebody's logging into your Wi-Fi. You can see we have sections here for categories, shop, sales, and social. If we go into a shop section, for example, which would be in the menu, we can create different menus. We can change the name. We can customize them, add prices. So you can see we've added a category called dresses and added some dresses in there. So if you come to our shop, these are the ones we want to feature. So there's really easy customization options. It's kind of like Shopify, where you don't really need to be super technical to get into creating a fantastic experience for your customer. And like I said, I was able to figure it out. So it must be pretty simple.
No, you're too kind. That's what our goal is, obviously making it as simple and user-friendly as possible. Over right now, you're on the Pages tab, and then there's the connection page. That's the first page that people see. And again, this is really simple. You just add a background image. You can add a logo or something if you wish. And then from that drop-down, choose what type of data you want to request for people to make that connection, a phone number or an email address or whatever that might be. I think one of the coolest things, and we actually just released this feature, is requesting phone numbers and the text messaging system that we built in place. But Kevin, if you want to click on the preview of the portal, you can actually see what this looks like for the user when they connect, and just how easy it is to I'm not sure if you want to actually go through this, but there it is. Yeah, so it gives you a preview of the whole experience, so you can test it out before you publish it live.
You guys didn't think I was actually going to enter my phone number, did you?
I was wondering.
Yeah, so this is basically how we had it set up here.
Yeah.
Go in, drop dresses.
Yeah, and we kind of designed it to look like an app, but give it that sort of custom app experience with the navigation at the bottom that we put in there. So it kind of makes every retailer or restaurant owner feel like they've got their own private app for their location without actually having to build one.
So the idea is, if I'm a customer and I'm shopping and I connect to the Wi-Fi and I see this open shoulder dress, the idea is that I would go and try to find that in the store, correct? I wouldn't buy it through the app.
Not at this time, no. That's something that we'd love to do with like an integration with Shopify and actually like creating a Shopify app for this, so that you could click that and purchase it right there. But typically you're in the location, so you've got the ability to say, hey, here's this dress, I want to buy this. Can you show me where it is? Or, whatever the situation is.
So Scott, we have a question here. I just wanted to make sure we answer this question before too much time goes. Let me pull it up here.
Sure.
Again, if you have any questions, just feel free to submit them. So one of the questions was, can we geofence certain areas of the gift shop? So basically, can Cobal, I'm assuming, have different experiences based upon where somebody is in the store?
Yes, that is something that I think is really cool. Not a lot of places make use of it. It does have to be a fairly, large place, because a Wi-Fi access point has a pretty good range. So like we say, about 5,000 square feet is about like what one Wi-Fi access point will cover reliably and give a really good, strong signal everywhere. But yeah, you could have one access point over in one part of your store and another one somewhere else. And when you connect to each one, it would show you different content based on whichever one it's connecting to. So yeah, the answer is yes. And it's pretty cool that it does that. I don't know if there's any other solutions out there that do something similar like that.
No, that's very neat. So the second question we had here was actually kind of a good segue into the part of the discussion I wanted to move to next, was kind of how everything works. So the question was, does Cobal have any software available for any or some routers? Do you guys give a router? How does the process work?
Yeah, we right now our software works just with our router. It's a Ubiquiti Wi-Fi access point, and we ship it out, and it works with absolutely any internet connection. I think I was mentioning, you just plug it into your on-site router, and away you go. We do have plans to develop for additional hardware devices. There's a lot of them out there. Cisco Meraki is kind of the obvious big one, and Ruckus, and I could go on and on. There's lots, but right now, no, we just use our hardware, and that allows us to do a little bit more. We have a little bit more control over the metrics that we gather and how the content is delivered and things like that. So that's why we really emphasize using our one piece of Wi-Fi hardware.
Okay, that makes sense. So, Scott, if I run a retail store and I want to get started with Wi-Fi marketing and get into this, what's the problem? How does things work?
Well, first of all, I would say create an account and start checking out the admin. And then once you're in there, there's a number of ways. We'll have to get in touch. We'll reach out to you because that's what we do. But if you haven't heard from us in a few minutes, feel free to send an email and say, hey, I'd like to order my Wi-Fi access point, my hardware, and get started. Type it out. We are doing, for Bold customers, free trial, and we'll send the hardware for Flell. So yeah, it's really simple to get started. We just have to get in touch and get your address and grab a nothing charged up front, a free trial. We just take a credit card number. So eventually when you say, yeah, this is the coolest thing and I love it, I want to keep using it, then you can show your appreciation and pay us a monthly subscription for it.
Yeah, seems pretty straightforward. And if we'll follow everyone here and registered email so that you can learn a little bit more and so that you have the links, and I'll give you Scott's email address and phone number maybe, and you can then reach out to him and ask any questions you have and kind of go from there. So Scott, before we run off, we're hitting around 25 minutes here. We have one more question, and again, if you guys have any questions, let us know. If there's anything else you'd like to add, Scott, you can. The question we get is it available overseas, specifically in Spain? So I guess that's a good question. It's just where is it available?
We actually don't have any customers in Europe or in Spain right now. I don't see why not. I know that power supply is always an issue, and with the hardware, it requires a certain voltage, I guess, and the reason, it has to plug into a power supply, and then that injects power into the Ethernet cable, and the access point is run by power over Ethernet. So there's a few technical issues there, but I'm pretty sure that we could have a solution for folks in Spain.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We've also had a few people just wanting to clarify pricing of how Cobol is priced. Maybe, Scott, you can just shed some light on that.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. So as I mentioned, for Bold customers, we're doing a 30-day free trial and free hardware. And from that point on, it's $39 a month. And that gives you access to everything, all the features, up to 1,000 text messages sent, and integration with MailChimp, which is our two apps that we've got right now. We didn't quite get into the apps in the admin, but those are your communications tools. So as you collect phone numbers or email addresses, we've built in some nice automations to actually set up your campaigns to send them, and then it's hands-free, and it just runs and does its thing and makes more sales for you. So yeah, $39 a month is our going rate right now for Bold customers.
And so I'm correct in saying the hardware that's required, is there additional cost for that?
Typically, we have been charging $300 as a setup fee. So that includes the hardware and some time onboarding. We'll work with our customers to do some onboarding, maybe build a custom page or something like that, some custom designs, and help them out building the portal so that when it arrives, it's ready to go and plug in. But right now, we're providing the hardware for free.
Oh, I mean, that's a great deal then.
It is.
So Scott, I'll leave it with you. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to highlight about Cobol or just Wi-Fi marketing in general?
I think it's a little bit of time will tell. I think it's really growing really quickly. There's a lot more industries that are adopting it, and it seems like retail has been one of the later ones to adopt. I think a lot of the reason is, if you go into a boutique, a store somewhere, what's the reason for connecting to the Wi-Fi? It's not a place where people typically seek it out and say, so you don't spend a lot of time there, and while you're there, you're doing something very specific, unlike an airport or a restaurant or a hotel. But the fact that, retailers rely so heavily on marketing, email marketing, and text message marketing, this is just, they're finding out really quickly that this is such an effective tool. It is a nice value add. People are looking for Wi-Fi signals everywhere. So it really does have a big place in the retail world. And I think we'll see a lot more retailers starting to use it very quickly.
I couldn't agree more. Well, thanks for jumping on today, Scott. It was great having you on to chat about Wi-Fi marketing. You certainly know a lot more about it than I do. As well as, like I told you guys, we'll be sending an email afterwards with the link to all this information, how you can redeem the offer, how you can contact Scott and Cobol, and then we'll let you guys take it from there.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate you having me on.
Perfect, guys. Take care.